constantly hearing about the revolutionary potential of artificial intelligence and machine learning, how these technologies can transform business after business. But you rarely hear anything about how AI could actually have an impact on your day-to-day life, aside from better targeted advertisements from Google and Amazon and Facebook. But is that all AI can do for us? We've got all this computing power, and the end result is that it gives us users better Netflix recommendations? Is that really it? No, there's a lot more to it than that. You're just not looking in the right places. You want to know where artificial intelligence can do the most good? Individualized medicine, using the human genome and digital technology to map each patient at the most granular level, and then coming up with bespoke treatments for them. And when we talk about individualized medicine, something that's driven many of the recent deals in the pharma space, like Lilly's acquisition of Loxo Oncology, Roche's takeover of Spark Therapeutics. There's one guy who actually understands this field better than anybody else. It's Dr. Eric Topol, long a favorite of mine, acclaimed cardiologist, who's the founder and director of the Scripps Translational Science Institute. Dr. Topol comes out with a new book. It's tomorrow. I can't believe we have him today. Deep Medicine, How AI Can Make Healthcare Human Again, where he details the ways that artificial intelligence can help with everything from doctors' note-taking to medical scans to diagnostic decisions. This is a hugely important topic, people, which is why I'm so thrilled to have him on the show today. Dr. Topol, welcome back to Mad Money. Good to see you, sir.
Hey, great to see you.
How are you? Have a seat.
Yeah.
All right, Doc, I read your book and I found it liberating because, like many other people, patients, I always feel like I'm being squeezed in, that there's not enough time. AI gives doctors time to be doctors.
Exactly. It's the ultimate gift of time. By augmenting the performance of all doctors, clinicians, nurses, that's big decompression of burden, but also for patients, giving them algorithms to interpret their data they're generating. So it's like a flywheel. You get the patients taking on more, the doctors having to do less, machines coming to the rescue.
Now, can you give our viewers some of the situations, like, for instance, unfortunately, I hate to use cancer. Cancer is a uniquely AI disease, right?
Yes. Well, it's because there's so many levels of data. There's not just the patient and their history, but the genome of the tumor. There's all the other aspects of the tumor, the scans that can be read through AI, the slides of the pathologist, and then, of course, these big data sets of millions of people that you can figure out from them, digital twins, treatments, and outcomes. So the future of cancer, when you learn from each other, with all these different levels of information, could be really transformed.
Well, that's why when I read your book, I said, now I understand why big pharma is spending $5, $6, $7, $8 billion on these gene therapy drugs. I mean, it's worth it.
Well, yeah, because now you're getting to the root cause, and you're actually letting a cure be established for the first time for many of these conditions. But it also transcends that, because we're learning as any doctor sees a limited number of patients, and they think all their practice is based on that, even the wiser older docs. But that's a fraction, tiny segment, and we can learn for so much more. But it's the difference between machines that have insatiable hunger and us humans that have early satiety of data.
Well, it does read like Hal's at certain points. Now, you mentioned earlier that you can have millions of data. One of the things that I felt that you talked about is if you have the Apple Watch, it's entirely possible. Tim Cook talks about AFib, and you talk about perhaps some blood pressure things. This can be a lifesaver, can it?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think the point is it will diagnose a heart rhythm problem that you didn't even know you had, especially if you're at risk because of your age and other factors. So, yes, if it prevents a stroke, that could save a life. But you know, most of the time, when people are using an algorithm that don't need it, it could also lead to a lot of unnecessary testing. So we have to be careful of that.
Well, one of the things that I found was fascinating was how many prostate biopsies people are just doing biopsies for the sake of doing biopsies. That's what I found.
But this is, welcome to American medicine. There's so much waste and unnecessary stuff, at least a third of the 3.5 trillion that we just are going wild with unnecessary things and hurting people inadvertently, unwittingly. So we can do better with this. And just as you said about bespoke diagnosis and treatment, we need help because the data, we can't get our arms around it. We're limited as people.
We are.
But we have lots of other great attributes that complement machines.
Well, you know, I have so much respect for you. I mean, and the book is just magnificent. But the last page, you're on the board of one of our favorites. You're on the board of Dexcom.
Yes.
Aren't they doing the kind of thing that you are crying out for?
Well, I've been on the board for 9 years, and I've watched that company that had a very shaky sensor, and it was just starting to get a use. And now it has one that doesn't have any need for finger sticks. Right. It's factory calibrated. It's easy to put on. And so it really is one of the first medical sensors to really come alive to make a difference. And so what I'm hoping for is, of course, there'll be lots of other medical sensors, right, but this is a good pace setter for where we can go. Because people think, right, steps. I'm counting my, right, step. Well, that's nothing when you're getting your glucoses, right, your blood pressure continuously, all these other things.
Okay, last question is, you deal directly with the worries about AI and how scary it can be. I think you swat them down, but you always have to be concerned, right?
Yeah, no, I had to acknowledge the liabilities. Right. There's so many of them, and we have to respond to each of them, because if we don't be very careful about how we implement AI, right, we could actually hurt people at scale. This is not a doctor-patient thing. This is a much bigger potential. So we have to really be rigorous about the research that we do.
All right. Well, the book is Deep Medicine, How Artificial Intelligence Can Make Healthcare Human Again. That's really good. I didn't even get to the diet stuff. Are you eating the right stuff? That's in there, too. Okay, I want to thank Dr. Eric Topol. He's the director of the Scripps Translational Science Institute, author of Deep Medicine, How AI Can Make Healthcare Human Again. Thank you so much, Doc. Great to see you again.
Great to be with you.
Appreciate it. Booyah! Jim Cramer here from Mad Money. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube. Click here to subscribe and get the jump on my exclusives with CEOs, plus market news, investing advice, and a whole lot more.